Yo, what is up, IDP Army? It's your man Jordan Rains, and it is week 3 waiver wire ads today for your IDP fantasy football teams. We're also going to recap a little bit of week 2. We're going to hit the highlights. We're going to talk about some guys who maybe got injured, stuff like that. And hopefully you won your matchups. If not, you need a little miracle tonight from this Green Bay and Detroit game. You get it. But let's go ahead and get cracking.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, so let's get to it, y'all. First and foremost, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you're in the chat, I may answer some questions at the end because I am live streaming this, so get those in and we'll see what's up with that. But yeah, we're just going to talk about what happened yesterday, kind of how the week unfolded. A lot different than week 1, obviously, on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Anybody that's played fantasy football knows that, that's the game. It's highs and lows. It's week to week. All these people clamoring for best ball. You know why? Because it's tough to play fantasy football. It's hard to predict, and you got to be okay being wrong sometimes. So, yeah, let's talk about a couple of players that did not perform very well, first and foremost. Yannick Ngakoue yesterday, we know he's dealing with the hamstring injury, came up with a donut on 27 snaps, 48% of snaps. That's not even like a small snap share compared to what he usually gets. He's usually hovers in that like 60 area, 50, 60. So that's not good. And I wonder if the injury, I assume the injury is still bothering him. It also really bums me out because Max Crosby over here is playing like 90% of snaps, 91% of snaps. He's basically one of the highest played defensive ends. And if Yannick got that kind of usage this year, he was going to blow up. But with the injury and with him just doesn't look like it's going to happen, unfortunately. Monitor that. We're going to have to start looking at Yannick in a different light, probably a DL3, maybe a flex until we see what's up. We got to put some points up, my guy. Another guy, this is kind of curious, Carlos Dunlap going up Tennessee Titans. Taylor Lewan was a late scratch. Not that he was going to do anything to stop anybody, but Carlos Dunlap played 26 snaps yesterday for the Seahawks, 30% of their total defensive snaps, which is smaller than I wanted him to play. Nothing. I mean, another donut here. Not good. This is really concerning. These are two guys that were 0 DL targets for me. I just don't know why this is happening. They're very talented. Yannick, again, I guess we can blame some of it on the injury. Carlos Dunlap, I have questions. I don't know how this didn't go good for them yesterday. They end up losing that game in overtime, which was a crazy game. I mean, probably the best game of the week. That Seahawks. Well, last night's game was good too. Seahawks, Tennessee. But those are a couple of things we are going to monitor going into the week. We had some good news, obviously. We had Nick Bosa get 2 sacks. Love to see that. Obviously, you paid up for him in your drafts, and you've been holding on to him for a while in Dynasty. If you're like me, on your IR spot, probably. Danielle Hunter got himself 3-piece yesterday, 3 sacks. That's a big game for anybody. It's no Chandler Jones 5-sack game, but that's a big game. Good to see him back. We're going to talk about him in just a second. Chandler Jones, where you at, my guy? Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, this is the nature of the defensive line position. You're going to have weeks where a guy is literally lights out the best player in IDP fantasy football. He's going to come back next week and he's going to give you almost nothing, especially at the DL position. It's very much mirrors the tight end position in a way where they're sack dependent or touchdown dependent. They're not really tackle getters. Their floors are usually lower. He did get a couple of quarterback hits. I think he ended up with 3 or 4 points total. But after 50, 60 some odd points 2 weeks ago, you're not happy with that. If you want to go trade him, that's fine. If you want to trade for him, that's fine. At the defensive line position, in my opinion, you really don't want to try to play matchups necessarily. It can, I guess, but you really just want to kind of stick a guy in there and just catch the weeks that hit and the ones that don't. It's going to be frustrating trying to pull guys in and out. So if you have Chandler Jones, just leave him in your lineup. I'm okay with trading him if you have somebody else, sitting around that you can play there. TJ Watt, groin injury. That's just like I'm so upset. I can't even explain to you. but that it is what it is. I don't know how long he's going to be out. We're just going to have to watch that, monitor that. Carlton Davis went out with an injury at the very beginning of that game with the Bucks. Ended up serving well for a guy we're going to talk about in just a second. Kenneth Murray had a leg/ankle injury. He went out of the game yesterday. I'm looking at all this stuff in the Ultimate IDP Index, which has already been updated for all the injuries and snap counts for the week. Go check that out on the Patreon, the $13 tier, the Black Ops tier. You can get in there. Mark Deshaun Elliott concussion. We'll have to watch that. So there were some injuries this week. Week 1, I felt like we made it through relatively unscathed. That's not going to be the case this week. So you're definitely going to keep track of those guys. There's going to be some players we're going to talk about for the waivers coming up. That have some stuff to do with that. But like I said, follow us on social media. Follow me on social media. Leave comments behind. We'll talk to you all week on the videos. But just want to get these out there for you guys as you prepare for the week. So we'll go ahead and quickly talk about the big weeks we had. Bobby Wagner set the franchise record and a personal record for himself with 20 tackles yesterday. Insanity. 46 points in IDP 1-2-3 scoring. He also had a sack, which was huge, a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits. The sack was on I think it was a 4th down. It was a great play. If you're not playing IDP, which if you're watching this video, you probably are, but if you're not, that's the kind of stuff that makes IDP so fun. Big games like this are super appreciated. Start your studs, draft, Bobby Wagner, we know what he is. He's a beast, and he's a beast in IDP. And even at pushing 30, 31 years old, he's still setting records. I mean, the dude's unstoppable. Another dude, a young king over here, young stud, we had Roquan Smith, massive game yesterday. 5 solos, tackle for loss. He had a sack. He had an interception. He ran back for a massive touchdown, half the field, 53 yards. He looks like a fire hydrant out there. He looks very similar body style to Devin White. Both of them were just built like brick shit houses. Both had monster games yesterday for you in IDP, and or not both of them, but Roquan did yesterday, and you drafted him to do that. He was ranked highly going into the week, so wanted to give that a shout out. Mike Edwards, like I said, Carlton Davis went out. Mike Edwards ended up having 2 IDP touchdowns. You're not going to see this often, but big game. If you are playing cornerbacks, all the cornerbacks for Tampa Bay are in play. You probably already know that. Probably didn't start him. You might have, but if he's on your waivers, we're going to talk about him. He's definitely somebody we're going to pick up, especially with Carlton Davis being injured. Danielle Hunter, I brought him up earlier. 3 sacks. 3 tackles for loss. He did exactly what Danielle Hunter does on his best day. That's put pressure on the other quarterback. And, it's a real shame that they couldn't close out that game with Arizona. I don't know what to say. They tried. Their kicker let them down. So that's life for a Vikings fan, I suppose. Jonathan Allen, this was tough. I came up against Jonathan Allen in several leagues, and he gave me the business. So did Tyrann Mathieu, who we're going to talk about in a second. But Jonathan Allen, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He basically had all the points you thought Chase Young was going to get you this week. Much cheaper price tag. Plays the defensive tackle position too. So if you're in a D-tackle premium league, Jonathan Allen is well on his way to being the number 1 defensive tackle of the season. So Tyrann Mathieu came back from COVID, goes out, first pass of the game, I think it was, Lamar threw was a pick 6 to Honey Badger. After I told people I was starting Chuck Clark over him yesterday, I played Honey Badger in 2 leagues. He's giving me the business too. I'm literally probably going to lose 2 matchups this week because the Honey Badger, I'm on the business end of the Honey Badger. You don't want that. You want that on your team, though, apparently. So I don't have enough Honey Badger. Shout out to everyone who rode with Honey Badger coming off COVID. He's a playmaker, straight up and down. And then Nick Vigil, wanted to bring him up. I'll bring him up too in the waiver part, which we're going to segment, which we're getting to. But he had a good game. And this is the second game he's had a good game. Obviously, your score is going to get inflated if you have a touchdown. But even without that touchdown, he was one of the better linebackers of the week. And in this second linebacker spot for Minnesota, we saw it be, productive for Eric Wilson last year. Nick Vigil's getting the reps right now, and he's making the most of them. So if he's still on your waiver wire, you definitely want to go check him out. Like I said, the Vikings Arizona game was really good, I thought, and then the Tennessee versus Seahawks game. Both those games were really interesting, fun to watch. Defensive battles with some offense being scored too as well. So, all right. So let's go ahead and talk about our waiver wire ads this week for IDP Fantasy. Some of the guys are going to be the same as last week. I'm just going to quickly breeze through these. Like I said, keep up with us on social. We'll talk about more of these guys. But so Drew Tranquil and Kenneth Murray and Kaiser White are both going to be guys you're going to be looking at. Kenneth Murray hurt his ankle. He did come back in the game, but he hurt his ankle. So, I mean, this could be a lingering thing. He could get pulled. I mean, any number of things could happen. So Kaiser White was already getting playing time. Go get Drew Tranquil. They really liked him a lot last year. If they're out there, you're going to want to check on him. Devin Bush was a late scratch with a groin injury as well. Didn't bring that up earlier, but TJ Watt ended up leaving the game with one. Devin Bush never even started. Robert Spillane came in and did Robert Spillane things. He just blows up out of nowhere. I mean, that's literally his MO. So you probably didn't play him, but if he's out there on your waivers and Bush misses some time, go get him. This is a disruptive defense. There's opportunities to be had. Cole Holcomb went over him last week. Aziz Al-Sha'ir is filling in for Dre Greenlaw. Had another just an okay game yesterday. Played 100% of the snaps, though. Only 5 tackles. Nothing else really to speak of. But if he's out there on your waiver wire, you're going to want to go get him. I really want to focus on Nick Bolton. This is a guy that I think coming into the year, I was probably a little too low on. 2 tackles for loss through 2 games, 8 solos yesterday on 83% of snaps. Tackle for loss. He was making plays, and he looks really, really good. He looks like one of the more competent Kansas City Chiefs defenders, which unfortunately there's very few that can actually wear the label of competent at this moment, but he's one of them. So go get him off your waivers if he's out there, because he's probably, I assume he's going to be playable all season. Willie Gay ain't going to do nothing like this. It seems like he's kind of got a stranglehold on this job now. So if he's still on your waivers, Nick Bolton, go check him out, pick him up. Gregory Rousseau, this is one that's going to be super duper important, especially if you're in Dynasty and maybe he's just been abandoned or he's on a taxi squad or whatever. He's out on your waivers. Played the most defensive line snaps for the Bills this weekend. 66%, 2 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, looked the part. He looked the part. 5 combined tackles. He's already beating out guys that are veterans there for playing time, including Epinesa. He played more than even Ed Oliver, who, what was he, like a top 5 pick? And he's played 2 NFL games. Okay. So they believe in Gregory Rousseau and what he can bring to the table. And he's already rewarding them. AJ Epinesa, another guy, I don't have him on the list. You can still check him out. He had a great game yesterday too. Peyton Turner, quickly. You guys know my stance on New Orleans, but he didn't play a lot of snaps, 41%, but 3 tackles for loss, meaningful. Okay. 4 solos, 5 combined tackles total. We could be looking at another Trey Hendricks situation here where maybe the snaps aren't there, but week in, week out, if he's making plays, he's making plays. So he's looking like somebody you're going to want to target if you need a DL help. John Franklin Meyer, went over him a little bit last week. Justin Burris, whose name I spelled wrong in this graphic. Sorry, my guy. 100% of snaps in week 1, 98 this last week. Had an interception, a pass deflection, and 5 combined tackles. So you like to see that. And we've seen this Carolina defense. I mean, they looked savage yesterday. They're young. They're hungry. Burris is a little bit older. He's been in the league for a couple of years now. But besides the point, this team looks good offensively and defensively. They look well coached. I've watched a little bit of Matt Rule's, some of their press conferences and stuff, and he just seems like a very with it kind of. He seems like he gets it. So I think this team is what we're seeing happen on this team, which is good things, is going to keep happening. And my thing in IDP, especially what I like about IDP, is defense. More so than offense, it is so much more of it's viewed as a unit, but it is a team sport. One player's success begets another's. Somebody's pressure leads to somebody's strip sack, which leads to somebody's forced fumble or fumble recovery. Somebody's quarterback hit leads to an errant pass that's batted and then intercepted. So this team has a lot of guys I think are buying in offensively and defensively, and it's showing up for them. So good win for them. Justin Burris, go check him out on your waiver wire. Mike Edwards, like I said, Carlton Davis, injured pretty early in that game for Tampa Bay. One of the better cornerbacks in the league. Mike Edwards came out, had 2 touchdowns, interceptions. He's not going to have a week like that every week, but It's Tampa Bay. These corners are going to get thrown on, so the points will be there to be had. So don't sleep on him. Just because he blew up and somebody's like, well, don't blow. I mean, we saw people blow 100% of their fab on Elijah Mitchell. I mean, there's no reason not to go just pick up on Mike Edwards. Okay, so if somebody tells you not to do that or whatever, I mean, I'm not saying go blow your load on him, but I mean, don't let him sit out there in the ether either, because it's one person's willing to blow their load, you could trade him to that guy, if you get him. So, but you get what I'm saying. And then Zach Bond, he had some plays this week, still second on the pecking order as far as playing time, but I think he's going to get out there more and more. We're going to keep seeing that. So if you got a bench spot, not necessarily somebody you're going to play every week, but deeper leagues, you're going to keep an eye on him, especially if you just need to plug and play a body at some point in the season. Two more guys that I do not have on this list that I want to bring up were KZ, the safety for the Cowboys, and Curse. Both had pretty good games. KZ had an interception, and we know Dan Quinn likes him a lot, so he's probably not going to come off the field. He's probably going to stick with being one of their primary safeties. So KZ, if he's on your waivers, go check for him. Odafe away. Dude pretty much closed out my Chiefs last night, and I'm not happy about it, but you know what? That's life. Had a great game. Played 75% of the defensive snaps yesterday. That's huge for a defensive line player. Huge, okay? 3 combined tackles. The game wasn't about that. It was about the fact that he made a big play in a big moment. And if he's already doing stuff like that and his play time's already at 75%, there's more coming, okay? There's going to be more coming. I had questions. I was a little bit concerned about this Ravens team coming in. Mostly because I'm big mad because they don't target Mark Andrews enough. But they look good, like good. And they look like they know they're good. So they just put my Chiefs on notice. Also big mad about that, but, life goes on. We'll see y'all again soon probably. We'll be better for it. Go Chiefs. Okay. And then one other player, I just want to remind you, don't forget about Justin Hollins. If he's out there on your waiver wire, Aaron Donald again yesterday, everybody was blowing up on Twitter on Saturday. Oh, can't wait to watch Aaron Donald versus Quentin Nelson. It's going to be the matchup of the week. Fart in the wind, baby. Aaron Donald, I think he had 10 points or something. No sacks. I think he might have had a tackle for loss. Quentin Nelson, he's a little banged up, but, it's how Aaron Donald likes him. Anyway, so Justin Hollins, he's going to have some sack upside. Leonard Floyd got home yesterday too, so don't sleep on those fellas playing next to Aaron Donald. So those are my waiver wire ads for y'all. I got some comments over here. Let's see what I got, and then I'm going to shut this shit down. So my team is – dude, that's a long-ass question. Need to drop one. Let's go with this one. Need to drop one. Which should it be? Humphrey Chin or Logan Ryan? Yikes, that's tough. I guess. Dude, that's tough. I don't know. Who do you like the least of those 3, I guess? I'm keeping Humphrey and Chin, even though I know Logan Ryan's going to have an incredible year. I'm trying to trade somebody away versus drop, though, my guy. That's from Devi Vid on YouTube, or David. Oh, my guy. All right, what's going on with Cunningham? Didn't see his total snap content, but he didn't come into the game until mid-second quarter. Yeah, let me look really quick here on the index at what was up with old Cunningham for you. His snaps were at 70+% yesterday. I heard he was in the doghouse, actually, got in trouble. That's what I saw when I was doing my research this morning. I was kind of going over all the beat reporter stuff, news I might have missed from yesterday. So I think he actually was not allowed to play the first series or the first quarter. I don't know what that's about. I haven't dug into it. If he would have got the snaps, you still played him. I played him. I really can't tell you what's going on, but I'm going to keep playing him. He's at Cunningham, one of the highest paid linebackers in the league. Christian Kirksey did have a good game, but it's not like Cunningham didn't do anything. So we know there was a reason for that. The coaches have said, I don't really know what the validity of that reason is, but I don't run the team, so whatever. But he's going to get back out there again next week, and you're going to want him in there. I did want to try to show you guys the index quickly so you can just kind of see some of the stuff that's in here. All right, let's see if I can do this. All right, so this is the Ultimate IDP Index. I'll just give you a quick look at it. We got the green dot filter over here, so you can kind of see who's who, the tiers. Right now I have it set up to sort because I was looking at the snaps. So it's set to sort the weekly snap percentage, week 2. So as you go down, you can see everybody that played 100% snaps week 2, and then you get to the 95% plus, and then it starts the tiers over again. So it goes through all my tiers right now through the 100%. Now, if I take that out of there, you can just see this is what the index looks like when it's in its natural state. These are everyone in the top tier. This is everyone in the second tier, and then it's not sorted in this column. But column-wise, we have, start sit tool, which I use for, guys that are super starts or guys that you really need to worry about sitting. I will fill those out during the week. We have the snap percentages for all the guys that played. We already got those in from this week. Injury tracker. Let's see if I can sort this so you guys can quickly just kind of see. So like you can see who's got injured week 2, also have their injury week 1. And then if a guy got injured and it carried over week 1, week 2, you can see here in the Bradley Chubb column, he got out of the game because he got hurt again. You can scroll over. Impact plays for the year available. You can quickly go to the reference page because obviously the index is it's really a snapshot of a player. For guys that have been in the league for a while, the rookies aren't in. Not all the rookies are necessarily in here. I also have their contract information. It'll zap you straight over there. And then if you just want to look at somebody's profile, let's just click into who looks interesting. TJ Watt's always interesting. So you can click into their profile. All this information is here. Their snaps, etc. Jersey number. I got write-ups on some of these guys. There's databases that show how they score every year. And just any tweets or any interesting articles that I think are good for these players. So just wanted to show you all, anyone who's still watching, a little snapshot of what is in the index because, we got a shout out to the Patreons quickly. We just went over 60 today, so y'all fucking killing it. We appreciate that. Daddy's going to get a new mic soon, hopefully. I need a new desk, too, and a computer. But enough about my problems. Appreciate you guys being in the index. Anybody that goes over there and joins the index, get in the Black Ops tier, you can get into, or in the Patreon Black Ops tier, you can get in the index, too. Our Discord as well. Always talking about, they blow that thing up. I need to get in there actually now and answer some questions. So all that being said, appreciate you for being here today. Listen to me talk about IDP Fantasy Football. Tell a friend about the show. Tell a league mate about the show. Comment below who you're targeting in waivers. And any questions you guys have, I'll try to keep up with answering them in the comments throughout the week. If you're listening to the podcast, the OP boys are coming on soon. The Dynasty Tailgate will be out soon. I'll be back in a couple of days with the rankings. And then I'll be back with the Friday Fade show. And then we'll be on to week 3, y'all. So let's get it. That's all from me today. And until next time, let's get out of here.
Let the rain hit the sand. Build a house on a rock, got a plan. Gotta get stocks, keep them bands. Hear the clock tick, blades on the fan. Used to be mundane on a Monday. Now you have fun day on a Sunday. Cause you switching it up and you living it up. You ain't getting it.